But it was education that allowed me to change my mind and unleashed my curiosity. Any teacher or parent may influence children in many ways. We all have baggage. So how do we best respect a child's right to learn with a truly open mind? Young children are uniquely vulnerable to simply believing what adults tell them. So my starting point would be to give them tools to sort fact from fiction. When my daughter was 10, I decided to write a letter to her, asking her to think for herself about how we know the things that we know. How do we know, for instance, that the stars, which look like tiny pinpricks in the sky, are really huge balls of fire like the sun and are very far away? I mentioned one good reason to believe that anything's true, which is evidence, and I mentioned 3 bad reasons. There's tradition. Believe it because our people have always believed it. It's been handed down over generations. The trouble with tradition is that no matter how long ago a story was made up, it is still exactly as true or untrue as the original story was. There's authority. Believe it because your parents do. Believe it because a priest does. Believe it because a teacher does. That's another bad reason to believe anything. Believe something because it just feels right. And next time somebody tells you that something is true, why not say to them, what kind of evidence is there for that? And if they can't give you a good answer, I hope you'll think very carefully before you believe a word they say. Your loving Daddy. How much better instead to fire children's curiosity about all the extraordinary questions we have yet to answer. At Windmill School, I'm going to take an alternative assembly. I'm hoping I can share with these children something of what I wrote to my own daughter and get them to ask me questions. When I was your age, I pretty much thought that anything that a grown-up said must be true. But that can't be right, can it? Because different grown-ups say different things and they don't always agree. How do we know what's true? You've probably all heard about a great big meat-eating dinosaur called, do you know what that's called? T-Rex, that's right. Yeah. Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, if I tell you that T-Rex was about as long as a double-decker bus and was taller than an elephant, it'd be very sensible of you to ask me how I know these amazing things. So evidence is a good reason for believing. Our greatest responsibility in education is to unleash children's curiosity and never limit their questions. You and I are really very lucky. We're lucky because we live in a country with a long history of thinking for ourselves and asking questions. We're lucky because we live in the most extraordinary world. It's a real world of real evidence. And I hope that you'll enjoy finding out much more about its wonders. Yes. Well, the horseshoe crabs haven't changed very much. Lots of other things have changed a lot since that time. How did the sun come? Well, the sun came from a huge great cloud of gas, which came from an earlier star that exploded.
How did the dinosaurs die?
Well, probably what happened was there were lots of fires, and there was a huge lot of steam and smoke and dust, and a great big cloud formed all around the Earth, and so the sun couldn't get through. That's what people think, but nobody really knows, and you have to ask what the evidence for this is.